Hi, good evening, everybody. So today I'm talking about group discussion and interview preparation. So as we go get into this daily discussion on YouTube at 11 p.m. I thought that maybe rather than just doing general stuff, I'll start doing a little bit of focused sessions so that we cover issues and topics that might be important for you. And of course, I have a couple of templates with respect to what I want to do, CAT prep, preparation for other exams, etc. And today our session is going to be on group discussion interviews. How do you prepare specifically for GDPI part of the preparation? So I'm going to talk about it as usual. 11 p.m. Every night I'm live. Yesterday I was on the road, so I could not do it. But anyway, so AK's for first question for today is MDI call expected 95.78. See, speculative question मत पूछ. If I speculate yes, इसका मतलब ये नहीं होगा तुमको कॉल आ जाएगा. If I speculate no, तो उसका मतलब ये नहीं होगा कॉल नहीं आएगा. So let's not do any speculative work because it does not help anyone. Chances are there definitely. If not for the main course, definitely for the allied courses there, right? So I'm not taking any specific uh, questions which are built around speculation, right? So questions from Yash. First question with respect to GDPI is how to justify poor records in PI. The poor records is not a good thing to come in with per se, because as a student you just been a student, right? So if you've just been a student and your records are poor, then automatically what happens is it shows that you're not doing justice to what you were professionally doing in that sense. So how does the interviewer trust you that you will do justice with a B school admit, etc. ठीक है ना? So that's fine, but at the same time I think the truth is the best way to justify poor records. So if your poor records has been because of your casualness with respect to your graduation subject, not like the graduation subject, वही बोलोगे और कुछ बोल नहीं सकते उसमें, unless you have had some other reason specifically. ठीक है? You just have to hope that the interviewer is willing to take that in a stride and then look at the good things in you, and then you maybe you can try to deflect him to what you did instead of the cards if you got something strong. So that is what you will do. Vedant, I got SPJ interview for finance officer in public sector bank. Since SPJ is one of the different GDPI calls, in the sense that they are one of the only institutes that asks you which course you want to specialize in. So if you have got finance shortlisting from SPJ, and your first focus will be on trying to justify why you want to do finance and what made you get into finance, and a little bit maybe you have to know a little bit about finance before you go into the interview. So your focus should be on reading up about finance, maybe read up what subjects they teach you, read up some of the books, know the basics of finance, and specifically since you are an officer in the public sector bank, your profile also matches. So that should be good. That should help you. Adit says, how deep do we have to go for graduation subjects? Depends on how far outside graduation you are. If you've just crossed graduation, just passed graduation recently, then you are expected to know the graduation subjects pretty well. Specifically, sometimes they ask you what is your favorite subject. They'll ask you questions on that. Otherwise, they can ask you questions from anywhere, any of your subjects. So it is advisable to know your graduation subjects. At the same time, if you don't have a very deep answer for a very specific kind of question, that it's okay. So even in your graduation subjects, if you say I don't remember or I don't know this, couple of times, it will work, right? So you don't need to bother uh, uh, about that. Mindworks from January batch. When will the course end? The physical course. I think I'll complete the batch in around 4 months. So 15 January is when we are starting our first offline batch for 4 years. 2019 was the last time we taught an offline batch. So 15 January, I'm doing a complete batch, which I'll be myself teaching. And 15 January, I think I would finish 60, 70. I mean, the course plan will be that I'll cover around 40, 50, 60% of the course offline between January to April. And we'll, of course, also give you the online resources, etc. And then in the June July batch के साथ some part of the coverage will happen in the June July batch offline. But course तुम complete कर सकते हो 4-5 महीने में. ठीक है. How to prepare a CATS for PI, maths honors from Rio, just too vast to provide for GDPSC. You should know the basic concepts. Core. This is what I was explaining to somebody else also. It asked how deep you need to go. You should not be. I mean, there's a first level of questions in your subjects, right? So you should be able to answer those. Second level of questions answer कर दो तो बढ़िया है. Third level, fourth level questions answer नहीं भी करो, अगर बोल दो कि नहीं याद है या वो सब्जेक्ट में उतने अच्छे से नहीं पढ़ा था, अभी नहीं याद है सर, it will work. It will not be an issue. ठीक है. I'm disappointed with the number of people turning up for the lives. I hope. I mean, I see a. I mean, I feel kind of deprived. There are other people who do these lives, and you have 500, 600 people. Please spread the word around. Please help me by doing that. Of course, I'm going to be consistent in what I'll do, and I'll continue doing this once I've taken that decision. So, Gurjot, CS engineer, doing an MBA in insurance. Why do you want to do an MBA in insurance, specifically insurance? I mean, my first question will be that only because it's not advisable to close down the industry very early in your this thing. You want to do an MBA in as general a field as possible, and then I mean, see what happens is your growth will be a function of your industry growth. So if you enter an industry which does not grow very quickly, or which has too much competition, whatever it is. So what happens is your growth becomes muted, and if you've done a very specific MBA in a very specific sector, you end up getting stuck in that sector for life, right? और तुमको पता चला कि वो वाला सेक्टर ज्यादा ग्रो कर गया और उसमें तुम स्विच नहीं मार पा रहे हो बिकॉज तुमने एक स्पेसिफिक सेक्टर का MBA कर लिया. So I don't advise that. ठीक है. Shreyash, UPSC gap, how many years is that, and which type of questions are more expected? Done graduation with lower grade taken. So you'll be asked a lot about the gap and what you did, and there'll be a lot of questioning on the UPSC attempt and why you wanted to become government servant, etc. So इस पे थोड़ा सा तुम्हारे पास questions आएंगे अच्छे खासे इस पे. So be ready for that. The logic that you will have to give to those questions will be the logic around the logic that works with you. So as I told earlier in the session, the truth is normally a very good way to answer the questions. So look at the truth and try to answer or try to focus on how good the truth sounds and whether you can defend the truth. So why you wanted to become why you want to take the UPSC exam? I mean, there's no crime in doing a UPSC exam, right? So there was a reason for that decision. Explain that reason. You're going to be an adult. You are an adult, and you're going to be an adult framework in an interview. So the interview will listen to you. उतना प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगा सिद्धांत. वहाँ पे एक्सप्लेन कर देना before the interview. You can tell them that there's a mistake, sir. Is a gap year a hindrance? Depends on what you have done in the gap year. So if there's a gap year, you have not done anything, it will become an hindrance. If there is a gap year in which you have been working properly and you have done something or built a passion, not much of an issue. Right? 99.31 in CAT, but being a gem with low work X, not expecting because I think tier 2 mein tumhara, I think you will get you should get LIK, S, and all the other RAM calls. ABC might be on the borderline. C में हो सकता है call आ जाए, और B भी शायद हो सकता है. A में engineers के context में शायद नहीं आएगा call, but I mean just keep your fingers crossed. And once you get the calls in hand, उसके बाद SPJ अगर भरे हो तो आ जाएगा, MDI definitely आ जाएगा. So all those are good colleges, right? Thanks Manoj. Thank you for the kind words about the books. Pharmacy graduation. See, graduation stream se kuch bhi, they can ask you anything about your grad subjects. So you have to be prepared with the most important. At the same time, a lot of times you will not expect the guy who's in the interview to know your subject so well. So they do prepare a little bit for the interviews. So they prepare a list of questions, and of course around your subject. जैसे pharmacy है, तो in the COVID pandemic times, pharmaceutical industry became a very important industry. So you should know the trends and all the vaccines and everything that was built during that time and the various technologies used in the vaccine. So you can have a discussion around that. You can expect a discussion. That or GDP, what kind of question is that, Vartik? I think you should do both, because that does not require more than, unless your CAT preparation has been haywire and you need to prepare कि 6 चैप्टर पढ़ा नहीं है इसलिए अभी बचा हुआ है, तब तो ZAT पे फोकस करो. अगर CAT preparation ठीक से किया था और सब कुछ कर लिया था, तो you need to, for that what do you need to do? You need to do 4-5 hours a day, that's it. And GDPI के लिए क्या 2 घंटे per day should be enough. That's more than enough, right? AK, after grad, I took a gap of 1 year, was preparing for CAT alongside the full-time volunteer in Red Cross and Rotary. Is this a good enough reason? Yeah, it's a decent reason. I mean, anything you can explain to yourself, anything you can explain to yourself, you can explain to anybody else, right? How to prove your employment? I think take a salary slip, take a work experience certificate, and do some transactions on your bank account, and mention that it was a family business. I guess that's how it will be. So you given IBPS PO mains and SBI PO. Should I talk about these exams? Yeah, you can talk about it, Majestic, but you can't say that this is what I was doing for the year. So you can't say that मैं banking का तैयारी कर रहा था. That won't work in the interview, right? Hi doctor, hello from my side. How to prepare for group discussion? Group discussion में थोड़ा तो GK part का aspect होता है, because you will have a lot of GK oriented general awareness, general knowledge awareness topics, and then you have these general topics which don't require general awareness, general knowledge. So उसके लिए फिर then you have to, of course, sit in group discussions and learn to crack, learn to talk in discussions, learn to listen in discussions. All those factors are important. Yeah. This 1 year is enough, Arpit, if you do it correctly. LORs not really. Letter of recommendations in GDPI process India में नहीं मांगते हैं लोग. There will be a joining letter, Abhishek, so that should be there, and whatever cash you got, hopefully you should be. अभी तक नहीं किया तो अभी एटलीस्ट उसको मंथली एक पर्टिकुलर डे पे डिपॉजिट करना स्टार्ट कर दो, तो बैंकिंग वो आ जाता है. How to clear SBI PO? SBI PO, let me do a session separately. मैं एक दिन एक लाइव सेशन करता हूँ SBI PO पे, ठीक है ना? And CAT preparation definitely help you, because SBI PO is from what I've heard is I don't remember the latest patterns etc. that they have been doing. I've of course taught batches for PO etc. But pattern थोड़ा देख के मैं एक separate session करता हूँ PO पे, और CAT preparation definitely help करता है because ultimately aptitude CAT is here and SBI is moving towards CAT. So that's what I heard. I'm told that a lot of people will, I mean, publishers keep telling me that a lot of people use my books these days for banking preparation. So I must have done some good work on my books for that to happen. Gap in between of aptitude. Yeah, gap is aptitude round means aptitude test from the exam to the PA. 2 month gap, yeah, that's normally what it is. 667, yeah, you can target CAT 23. If you get a good percentile, get an N10 plus percentile, and that should be enough. Graduating in 2025, you should give CAT 24. You should definitely give CAT 24. Thank you, SR, but I don't see it in the numbers coming for my lives. Maybe a lot of people don't know about it, but I hope more people get to know about this and we have larger numbers as we this thing. DI book, yeah, should be okay. Should be okay. Although banking में थोड़ा सा वो कहता है, you have a little bit of chapter-based chapter-based questions. तो time and work पे DI question और time speed distance पे DI question, वो सब भी रहता है थोड़ा banking में, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it shoots well. It has to be both, Nikhil. You have to apply. Some colleges will ask you to apply, so you have to apply those colleges. And other colleges will send you calls or contact you also. Both will happen. Chalo, so I'll stop the question now. XLRA Delhi cutoff should be in the 30s, I think. So I'll stop the question now. I just want to speak last 2-3 minutes. I want to speak a little bit about, or I want to give kind of a lecture for 3-4 minutes on what you should do for your PI preparation, because that's the most important. That's the topic of the day. So PI preparation, GD. First of all, you need to understand GD is not so common these days. It's more PI, less GD. GD is almost removed from 70-80% of the processes for the interviews for the personality part of the admission process. So the focus is more on PI, and जहाँ पे GD है भी, the weightage is 10 to 20% on GD, 30% maximum on GD, 70% weightage, 80% of the weightage is on the PI. So that's one thing. So no more questions. I'm just finishing off today's session with this last 2-3 minutes of lecture, where I'm talking about key things that you should remember for your PI preparation. So the first thing you should remember about your PI preparation, for your PI preparation is that you have to do a little bit of ideation from with respect to who you are. So when you talk about ideation about who you are, you go back to your past, the last 5, 7, 10 years, 15 years of your life. Go back to the past and try to look for significant experiences, significant events, significant upturns, downturns, everything that's happened to you. Look for them in your past and how it influenced you. So start building a story. So the first part of your PI preparation is to become more self-aware of who you are. So you start looking at that and you start trying to analyze yourself as a personality. So your interview, your group discussion, your interview is essentially your interview questions can be broken into 5 different boxes. One box is questions from your past, questions emerging from your past. The second box is questions emerging from your present. In that context, the present is, if you're in December 2022 right now, so the present is 6 months before to 3 months later. So your present will be assumed to be June 2022 to March 2023. That will be the present. Before June 2022, it will be your past. So past, present, future. Third boxes is the future box. So you will get questions from your future in your interview with respect to what you're planning, how you're planning it, what are your alternate plans, where do you want to be in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and there are answer structures for those things. And I'll do some sessions on those separately, and maybe some videos on those separately. And So these are the first three boxes: your past, your present, your future. The fourth box where you can get questions from is your personality, your character traits and your strengths and your weaknesses and who you are as a person. So that's the fourth box. So you can expect questions from the fourth box. And the fifth box is the random box. So there will be some randomness in every interview where you can be asked anything. Name five South Indian rivers, to name five European kings, to anything. You can be asked any random questions. So these are the five boxes which you start looking at. If I look at my own five boxes, the random box you can't look at. It's general and it is somehow or the other going to be related to what's happening in the world around. So awareness of events around you is important, because only if you're aware of what's happening do you actually make an opinion about it. So that's one part where you are looking at the randomness part of it. But so you don't really you can't really prepare much for it apart from shoring up your GDPI, your general awareness and the latest events aspect. So that's one part, but the other four parts are critical. So your past, your present, your future, and the personality box. So these four boxes में झांक के देखो कि तुम्हारा क्या क्या क्वेश्चन निकल रहा है. अगर तुम किसी को देखते हो, I mean, if you as an individual try to evaluate somebody else, let's say somebody comes to you for a job to work at your home, तो तुम भी उसका past, present, future और personality देखोगे ना. तो उसी तरह से as an external person look at yourself and try to see what questions come out. You'll be able to predict 80-90% of the questions that come to you, right? So thank you so much for joining in, and I'll see you again tomorrow night. And do put in the comments. Do put in the comments what you want me to speak about, and we'll try to schedule something around that. Thank you so much, and bye bye. Good night.